Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Glad to see everybody. I was telling a couple of people as they were coming in, they were asking if I was handing out checks. And I said, maybe I am. I don't know. We have a large turnout. So we're glad to see you. We've got a lot to cover this afternoon. We're going to try to keep this at a 1 hour limit. And then, of course, we can always be available. The slides are also going to be available on the hub. It will be replayed, and I'll give you those dates at the end. And it's automatically played by the hub now, which is good. So we got that all situated. And we'll also have all the slides located in print in the library. I think they're already there. So we're glad to have that opportunity to be able to print those out and have available copies for you. So first of all, we've got a couple of things. We want to introduce a couple of people to talk about. So I want to bring up a special guest. Her name is Julia. And Julia, if you'll come on up, I want you to give an opportunity.
Ooh, my goodness alive, Mr. Kevin, you got a crowd here today. Well, my name is Julia, and my husband John and me, we've come in from the country today to do a little shopping. We went down to the feed and seed store to get a few groceries and a little feed for the animals. And while I was there, I met one of your workers. Her name was Phyllis. Ooh, she's a chatty little thing. She really is. But saying that, she and I got along really good together. She's been telling me about this Mother's Day tea that you all have here. She said it was an annual thing, and as good as I can figure that, I believe that means every year. I'm not really sure. But anyway, she told me all about it, and she said, after a while, she said, would you like to come? And I said, no. And then I thought about it, and I said, yes, I think I will. Think I will? I think I will. So I'm a-coming. I hope I see you all. First thing I asked her was about getting me a ticket. She said, didn't need no ticket. What I needed to do was just come. I needed to sign a list that said I was coming. So all you ladies, now I'm looking for you to be here because I'm a-coming. And so you better get your name on the list. And I understand Miss Phyllis is going to be out in the fireplace lounge taking names. So if you want to come to the tea. Now she told me all about it. It was just really, really good. Oh, I might have to have me a little dip of snuff here, but maybe I can make it through without it. First thing after she told me about that I didn't have to have a ticket, she told me that there'll be a lady named Miss Nancy, and that she'll be standing back there in the hall after the tea, and she'll be taking up money in a great big hat. Now you all know what this money's for. She said it was for scholarship for a female employee so they could get more education. Well, I didn't know what to say. I thought a minute and I said, well, I think that's good, because everybody needs a little more than they got, you know. I didn't know what else to say. But anyway, that's the way that that ended. Then I had to find out about the scholarship thing a little more, and I kept asking. Well, then she tells me that they're going to have people from the office in serving tea and coffee. So see, you get a double whammy here if you come. And she said they was going to have a little plate of goodies for everybody. Well, now, I have never eaten no goodies. And I told her, I said, I may not like them things. She said, well, I could just leave them on my plate. I thought that'd be a tea-tad rude. So I just said, no, I'll just put them in my apron pocket. And when I go to milk tonight, I'll feed them to the cats. Do you think it'll be that they'll hurt the cats? Well, anyway, she was explaining about this money to me, and you know when you talk money, it's serious. I don't have much money, but I said if my hens lay good, I can bring in 2 or 3 dozen eggs to the feed and seed. And I could make a couple pounds of country butter and bring in, and I could trade that for my groceries. Apparently you don't want no snuff, so I'll just set the box down. Anyway, that would cut down on my grocery bill, so I can put that money in the hat. Now, it's very important that you know, according to Miss Phyllis, that this money will go to a female employee, not to a child, not to an employee's child, but to an employee to get about more education. And this is important. Then she told me about some woman named Pauline. Oh, me. She said that Pauline's always taking up money for scholarships. The way she talked about her, I thought she was a little, you know about that. Then I asked, what do you do at this thing? And she said, well, everybody's had a mother. Everybody's got a mother. So we're here to celebrate mothers. Now, we never have done that out where I live. I remember after the first young'un was born, John cleaned out one of those little Vicks vapor rub bottles. You know, they're pretty blue things. He washed that thing good, and he put some dandelions in it, and he gave it to me, and I thought it was pretty special. Pretty special. Well, anyway, I'm here to say the tea is the 10th of May at 2 o'clock in this building. If you're coming, you got to have your name on the list. And I'm also here to say, bring money for scholarships. That's important. Well, Miss Phyllis brought me over from the feed and seed in her car. Oh, compared to our old pickup truck, that's really a fine driving machine. She drives pretty fast, too, but I wasn't scared. I trusted her. I really did. She let me out front, and I was standing out there waiting on her to park. And there was a couple ladies sitting at the, I think I lost my sound here, I don't know. A couple ladies sitting on that little black bench out there, and they were a-talking. One of them said, you know, I'm 86 years old, and everything I got hurts. I have aches and I have pains, especially if it rains, she said to the other lady, second lady. She said, now how do you feel? And that lady said, to my surprise, just like a newborn baby. And she said, well, please explain that to me. The first lady said that. She said, well, at my age, or at our age, you've got very little hair. It's very thin. You don't see well, you don't hear well, and oh goodness, I think I just wet my pants. And I said, I will fit in this crowd. I am going to be okay. Now, please get your name on the list. I've got to get back to the feed and seed because John's going to think I'm either lost or I've run away. And I don't want him to think I've run away because he's a good old man. And if I would get a door prize, she told me about them doors. If I'd get a door prize, he'd be so pleased. But when she first told me about the door prize, I needed some explaining then. I said, John and me don't need the door. We got 2 in the cabin, one at the front and one at the back. She said, oh, Miss Julia, we're not giving away doors. That's prizes. And I said, John would be really happy if I got some kind of a prize. But anyway, I got to get back. But I want y'all to be sure and come to the tea because I want to see you again. And I don't want him to think I've left. And, well, all I got to say is if I'm not here right at 2 o'clock, I'll be here soon. You know, the pickup truck acts up sometime. It's not near good as Miss Phyllis's driving machine. And then, please, somebody save me a chair because I can't stand up too long, as you can see. thank you, and be here because I'm a-looking for you.
Thank you, Miss Julia. We were also going to have some individuals from the Hendersonville High School here to talk about their play that they're going to be having on May 3rd through the 5th. They would like for you to, we've had people go to this last year, and this is their annual presentation. It's the Wizard of Oz this year, so hopefully you'll get your ticket and make your way over there. If we have 7 or more people, we will take a bus to drop you off at the front door. So I just wanted to let you know about that as well. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a dining update. But the first thing we're going to do hold on.
So, first of all, I want to say I had a magnificent time in Mexico, and then when I came back again, the campus is tore completely up from the front of the house to the back of the house. So, plus we've had all these changes that have started. So I understand changes is not easy for anybody, especially when you're looking at so much stuff that you'll have to put up with on a daily basis. The week I returned from Mexico, I had my knee surgery, and then I was cuddled up on the couch with 2 of my youngest ones, and we started watching a movie called Pollyanna. And it talks about, has anybody seen, first of all, has anybody ever seen Pollyanna? Raise your hand. Okay, so a couple. So it's about this lady who comes to town, and it's a pretty rigid town, and everybody is more or less, they always focus on the negative, and she comes in as a ray of sunshine, trying to get everybody to focus on what she calls the glad game, looking at positive things. So this is a quick clip before we start into the dining updates. So I just want to encourage everybody. So I know we have a lot going on around our campus and a lot of change, but always look to see what else we can, to help out a neighbor, or what else we can do to be happy about certain things. So having said that, the dining update. First, I'd like to welcome Maria Rich, our new director of dining services. We are certainly glad to have her. And really, there's not a whole lot for us to talk about because everything has gone pretty seamlessly. Okay, all right. I will say, so right now, so kind of going back to our updates about a month or a month and a half ago, We are still in phase one. Phase one, if you will remember, it is, to put it bluntly, we're trying to stop the bleeding. We have implemented certain changes so that ultimately you all do not have to, the goal is so we don't increase your monthly meal plans. You can ask Dr. Flynn, and if you don't mind, Dr. Flynn is our president of the board, and we've had multiple discussions in board meetings. If we do not do something about our meal plan and control the cost, we will have no other choice but to raise the fee increases. So I understand we've implemented several changes, but I will tell you, there's no way in God's green earth would I have ever anticipated how some of our residents have tried to come at different angles and trying to bypass some of these rules. So again, as we are working through this just as much as you all. As much of a good plan as I thought we had before I went to Mexico, again, I never would have anticipated when we talked about having 2 side dishes that we would have people putting a half portion of this one, a half portion of this one, and a whole portion of that one, which makes 3, right, in math? Or half an entree here and half an entree here. There are several things we could have never anticipated. So it did look like it was chaotic. But we are in the process of trying to maneuver through some things, and Maria's going to update you on a couple of those. But please be understanding and flexible. We are doing this for the betterment of the village and you all, so we don't have to increase your monthly meal fees. So having said that, I'm going to let Maria take it away. So
and I don't know. Okay, hopefully I'll be able to do this well. And don't throw tomatoes or whatever you might have put in your pocket for the dining room.
Muffins.
Please. That would be nice. First of all, even before I took this job, many of you spoke with me about different concerns that you had, be it I'm diabetic, I have celiac disease, different things that you had concerns about, menus, things like that. So just know that I remember most of them, not all those things, but if I've forgotten something, you can remind me. But we are actually working on menus and implementing some of the things that you had concerns about in the past. We're working very hard on the vegetable side items so that they match better with the entree items, and that we are not having 100% starches as our side dishes. So if you guys just bear with us, we're trying some new things. So, we may try something and then try the same thing again in a slightly different way. And I'm also trying to put out slides on the hub and information at the hostess stations on those days. If we're having a vegetable blend, I try to let you guys know what those things are beforehand. I don't always get it the day before, but I'm just trying to play catch up, so just be patient with me on that. People ask me about half and half. We just got half and half back in the building today, so you'll be able to have a choice now for your coffee if you would rather have half and half. We do have that. Somebody asked, or several people asked about our bacon, so we're doing something different with the bacon. That came in today as well.
And let me say something real quickly about the bacon. So the bacon that we had was the highest quality of bacon that we could purchase. It was a lot. Majority of it is meat, where you have a lot of fat associated with some of the bacon. This was the highest tier quality that you could purchase, and a lot from the new company, and it was a better quality than we originally had too. But it's because some people say it's too tough. It's because it didn't have a lot of fat in it. So we are going to try a couple different options. Again, I understand we can't appease everyone, but our goal is to find a delicate balance.
And those of you who specifically asked about that, I'm not sure if those people are here, but we've tried to make note of who you were so that we can come directly to you and say, we're trying our new bacon today, please order it at breakfast, so that you have the opportunity to know if you like it or not. So here are some questions that have come up repeatedly from you guys about the changes. And I'm just going to go down the list. The to-go drinks at the window, instead of having different sizes, we will have a 16-ounce cup. Your beverage will come with your meal, whatever beverage you choose. A beverage in a 16-ounce cup will be included with your to-go meal. If you so choose to have a smaller cup, so I would, a lot of times myself, I would say, I don't want a 16-ounce cup of orange juice. Can I please have an 8? So we have an 8-ounce cup and a 16-ounce cup. But unless you otherwise request, you will get a large beverage because you are getting a 16-ounce beverage in the dining room with your meal. So that is one thing that was brought to our attention. With your to-go meal, there is a beverage included, large beverage. Any beverage in addition to the one with your meal is $1 charge. And it doesn't matter if it's a soda or a V8 juice or whatever. It's a large beverage, but there is a charge for that. In the main dining room, your beverage, whatever it might be, ginger ale, lemonade, V8, you have an unlimited beverage in addition to coffee. You can have unlimited mugs of coffee in the dining room at no extra charge. If you come and you want tea unlimited, coffee unlimited, but then you also want a large ginger ale, then there's a charge for the ginger ale. So there's a little bit of a difference from the dining room to the to-go window as far as those things are concerned. But it is always a large beverage that's included with your meal. The only difference is in the dining room, you're having unlimited coffee as well. Hope that clears up a little confusion. And the other big thing that I need to stress, from a health department sanitation standpoint, and these are the inspectors that come to inspect our facility. We cannot bring containers from home and bring them into the dining room and then take things back out of the dining room in those containers from home. That is not my rule. That's not John's rule. That's the health department. And I actually go to church with the guy who does all the training for the health department. I actually called him to confirm that, and he said, yes, we're not allowed to do that. So we'll be happy to provide you with takeout containers, and once we get into our recycling program where you have the containers that we will recycle, you'll bring those to us. We will wash them and get them back to you, or we'll just put them back into circulation, but we're just not allowed to do that. So I understand why some of you are doing it, but we're just not allowed to do it. It's like a restaurant. If you go into a restaurant, you're not bringing your own containers to take back out. They won't let you do it either. So those are my main things, I think.
And let me just say this.
Oh, wait.
Go
And
ahead.
by the way, I love being here. So thank you guys for allowing me to join the party, because I really like it. I've been here for 5 years as your dietitian, but I'm having a really great time. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And just so you know, those changes are not Maria's changes. Those are changes that the Dietary Committee and myself have worked on, and again, so that those additional expenses don't get passed on to you all. So please, please don't shoot her. You can shoot me. That's fine. I'm relaxed. I'm back from Mexico. I'm good. But yeah. So thank you, Maria. I appreciate it. Her and Teresa have worked a lot. Many hours have gone into what she and Teresa have been doing. And I would like to say, since I've been back from Mexico, I have received numerous compliments on the staff in the dining room. I've heard comments that it is a positive atmosphere, as well as a lot of positive feedback on the dishes. Now we've gotten complaints on the food, but again, it's I hate this, and then you get one right after that says I love that dish. So I understand. I don't like rutabagas. I tried it for the first time last week, and they were cooked well, seasoned well. I just didn't do it for me. But I tried. My mom would be proud. But I do want to say, in Pollyanna, the one of the parts at the end, Pollyanna's talking to the pastor, and she reads a little something that is inscribed on the back of a necklace she's wearing, and in there it quotes it as being said by Abraham Lincoln. I tried to research and verify that was actually something that Abraham Lincoln said, and I could not verify it. But in the movie Pollyanna, it talks about it gives this quote: "If you look for the bad in mankind, expecting to find it, you surely will." One thing I would like to encourage everybody to do is, a lot of those comments, positive comments that I've received, I have not seen those compliments on the comment cards. Teresa and Maria read those almost daily, at least weekly. So please make sure, if you have a good experience, please put that on there. They have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Not blood yet, hopefully, but sweat and tears. So please just make sure you recognize them for the efforts that they're doing. Our goal is not to divide the people who come to the dining room against the individuals who come at the takeout window, but we did have to come up with parameters which we felt were in the best interest of the residents here. And later on, it really won't matter which way, if you come to the dining room or the takeout, because once we go to an a la carte, which, again, down the road, we will get there, it'll make it an even playing field across our campus. So this is the last part I have. I just wanted to touch briefly on two things. Activities director. So we have made the decision not to replace someone to sit in Betty's chair. At this time, to be fiscally responsible, we have decided to take those responsibilities that she had and divvy those out between Laura, our wellness director, and Phyllis Smith, our development officer. So some of you have already participated. I had a great comment from Mr. Hemingway. Thank you about the bingo that was this week. And I believe there was also a fantastic outing in Lake Lure. So please make sure you get with Phyllis. Her office, she will not be moving offices at this time. So you won't see anybody sitting in Betty's chair at this point, but her office will remain back towards the E-wing. If anybody does not know where she resides, please let me know, and I'll be glad to take you back there. Any questions? Ms. Reno. Okay. They would contact Phyllis Smith. So do you have a contact for them? Okay. And you could, that'd be great. Oh, she had a comment about the swing band this past weekend, did not know who to contact. And so if anybody has questions like that, or if they know somebody who's trying to get a hold of our activities person, please refer them to Phyllis Smith. Thank you. Any other questions? I'll come right back to you. Ms. Ballard. So the current containers, she wanted to know if they can be rinsed and then put back in the recycling bins. Unfortunately, they cannot be recycled. Correct. They can't be. Mr. Hemingway. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So let's eliminate the 2-cookie rule. All right. So I love. Oh, hey, there we go. Hey, that was that was not predetermined there. So the question was, what about the 2-cookie rule? All right. The 2-cookie rule basically came into effect. So as the dietary committee, we were sitting around a table. If you did not want to take a dessert home and pay for a dessert to be taken out, then the village would provide that resident with 2 cookies to go out of the dining room. So if you're taking foods from the to-go window and you put a dessert down, you do not qualify to get 2 cookies. I know, right? So the 2 cookie rule is if you're in the dining room and you do not want dessert, but you want to leave with something a little sweet for your sweet tooth. So if you do not order dessert in the dining room, you can take 2 cookies home with you. Any questions related? Did that kind of answer the question? Okay. We can come up with all sorts of rules. All right. So the question was, she heard that it was only you can only get 1 cookie. That is not accurate. It's 2. It is 2 cookies. So if you're eating in the dining room and do not want to eat dessert in the dining room, but you want 2 cookies to go with you back to your apartment, maybe that's something for a little snack later or midnight snack, then you can take 2 cookies. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Odnitz. No. You can't take ice cream home, but you get 2 cookies. In the dining room, if you order ice cream, you get 2 cookies with that. I'm sorry. There's too many rules. If you order ice cream, you get 1 cookie in the dining room. Make sure this is not on recording. Is this on recording? Okay. Did I completely just muddy that up? So the question is, what about ice cream? If you order ice cream in the dining room, you get ice cream with 1 cookie. Hey, Miss Hemingway, can you do something with them? If I guess you can take that. How about this? How about we just increase it to, what was it, $119 per resident per month? That would eliminate a lot of questions. So I guess so. If you order your ice cream and you get your 1 cookie in the dining room, you may not take the cookie home with you. I'm sorry. Oh. I know. Believe me, this is not fun. And again, we could not come up with all these scenarios while the dietary committee was sitting around the corner, sitting around a table. So again, thank you all for your flexibility. Okay, hold on. We got a few more questions.
Are you in the dining room or at the window for the takeout? We will dispense a 16-ounce cup for you. Because if we were just talking about that today, actually in the office, because you would get a large glass in the dining room, we want to provide the same to the people in the takeout window, that you would get a large glass or a large cup of milk. If you only get the 8-ounce container, we felt like you were getting shorted at the takeout window because you weren't sitting in the dining room. Those, and this is straight up honesty to you. Those containers, those milk cartons, are much more expensive, and also it is much more waste from a cardboard standpoint. So that's why we were doing the 16-ounce container dispense. It's still skim milk. It's just dispensed rather than with the 2 cardboard cartons.
We gotta keep going. I've got 75 more slides to go. So we gotta go. Thanks.
The question of the muffins. You may not take the muffins home. If you should only ask, they should only bring out as many as you can at that table. Because here's the thing: we had, when I was talking to the staff was excited that we were implementing this rule, because there are several people who would take 6 muffins home apiece for breakfast. So again, it goes back to trying to manipulate the system. And if you're in the dining room and you see your neighbor taking 6 muffins home, knowing that you're paying for it, we have to draw the line somewhere. Although I know it's not. I wish we had a magic wand where I could just make everybody happy. It's not going to happen at this point. But our ultimate goal, and I'm glad to say, that we're only 3 weeks into this, or almost 4. The financials, from the financial standpoint, they are looking much better than they did year to date at this time last year. So we're really excited. Now, again, we're still early in the game, but when we start having our next updates, probably in July, we'll have a couple months under our belt, and I can't wait to share those results with you. Okay, still on the muffins. Yes, it is thrown out. Well, again, you shouldn't ask for it if you don't want it. And they shouldn't bring it unless you ask for it. Or they should ask you if you want it, and then, all right. If you have any questions, Mr. Horn.
Yeah, we actually have all of our staff are going to go to a food show next week with Gordon's. They are all going to be traveling down to that food show, and they will be able to talk to all the vendors that provide our services here at Carolina Village. So that will be an opportunity for Maria to talk to those vendors that specifically about fat in meat, to see how that can be substituted with some type of herbs or something like that to still get the flavor. I think that's what you're asking, correct? Okay.
One additional statement for you guys to know. Gordon's also provides a lot of staff education, and we have already had a chef from the company to come and do training with our cooks and our chefs in the back. So we're going to continue to do that. It's part of an ongoing process, and we have a long-term plan. So we'll be working on that with people who are professionals at it.
So before Maria and John leave, I want you to actually say, I want you to be honest. Since April 1st, have you seen an improvement in our dining program with the meals and with the service that you've received? If you have seen improvement, raise your hand. Okay. We did not think it was going to happen overnight. We knew it wasn't going to happen overnight. Rome was not built in a day. But I can tell you right now that the staff have been so excited to get the training that they've received, the products that we have received from Gordon's, and the support that they've received from these 2 individuals that they had not gotten in over 20 years. So I want to thank both of these individuals for the hours and hours and hours of work that they do for that dining staff, as well as for you in that dining program. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. But we are going in the right direction, and I am so excited to see about what we're going to see in the next year if we keep this momentum going. So, but yeah. Well, the question is about the a la carte.
We're talking about this. There's a lot of structure that we have to get in. We are in plans. Part of the fact that we've gone to a simple a la carte, there's certain things you can get a la carte, is to prepare us to know how we need to continue to plan for down the road when we do system-wide a la carte. When we are talking months, well, maybe even up to a year, because there's certain things we still are working on.
Yeah, there's a lot that we're still doing, but that we are closer now than we were 2 or 3 years ago when we even just talked about the concept about a la carte. So I want to thank you all for your patience. I mean, we've had people that have stopped us in the hall and told us about how great that meal was, how the service has improved since the beginning. They have seen a difference in our leadership in both the front of the house and the back of the house, as well as up in our healthcare areas. So we're very, very excited about that, and I think this momentum is going to continue to go forward. So we do appreciate that very much. So thank y'all. So quickly, I want to go over some of the project updates. The ground maintenance building, if you go by there today, you actually see some framing going up. Yay, finally. After 3 inches of rain this past week, we are starting to see the frame. The foundation had to cure for 14 days after it was poured, and now we're actually seeing the walls. We anticipate that the construction of that ground maintenance shed, or the maintenance building, will be done by the end of May or the 1st of June. So that project will be off of our plate, and that we will hopefully get those gentlemen in their new homes very, very soon on that end of it. So we're going to go to the Clear Creek Cottage areas. You probably have seen a lot of the structural walls. Everywhere you see one of those walls that looks just like this, that is an area between what we call the sitzplatz. So this is the lowest level. This is where the terrace level is. And then above would be the 4 apartments above that. They have poured every single one of the cottages structural for this structural wall already. By the end of this week, we will see the first foundation being poured for duplex or sitzplatz number 1. The foundation will be poured. The plumbing rough ends have all been done, and they're going to be right behind them doing the other ones. So we are starting to see momentum. You should anticipate seeing some framing on that first sitzplatz probably by the end of the next 2 weeks if the weather continues to hold up. So we are on schedule in regards to that, and these are some of the pictures. So this duplex right here, or this sixplex, my little one is not showing. There it is. That's the one that you'll see the foundation being poured by the end of this week. So a little bit of confusion in regards to some of the roads that are back there. This right here is Carolina Village Road. This is the existing road that we have now that goes out the back gate. There are 2 new roads that will go into play. One is Crossbill Lane. That is the upper level. And then we have the Dunlin Terrace. Okay? We're going to continue with the bird names. It took us about 200 birds to get a bird name that they allowed us to use. The interesting part about this road right here, the Dunlin Terrace, that is 1 story lower than the ground is right now. Okay? That is the reason why these units are called a sixplex. 4 on the Crossbill Lane side and 2 units on the Dunlin Terrace side. All right? So there's still some work to be done on shaping some of that, but you should be starting to see that already, especially up here into this part of the campus, which is where those first sixplexes. This area right here, what we call phase 1, is anticipated to be finished by the end of May of next year. So almost about a year from now, those residents will start moving into Carolina Village. Here are a few more pictures of that. And I mean, just knowing 3 inches this week, we got 4.5 inches last week of rain. We did have a resident to go down and start skiing on the mud in this area, and now that is the reason why there is a fence up there, so we can protect everybody in regards to that. So I am not building the wall to Mexico, but I am building these structure walls. This is the walls that we have right here that we're building. We're having to put a protective weather coat on that and a sealant on that, which is this black area right here. Once that gets on every inch of this, the dirt will be pushed up against that foundation, and the opposite side of that wall will be where the 2 terrace units will be, okay? And then everything will be built on top of it. Right? It's a very fascinating process to see all this work, and we're trying to get you pictures that's on the hub, and also we're in the process of getting cameras installed so you can see the structurals go up, all right? When we get to a point and it's safe, we will do tours, but it is not safe at this point. So please don't go back there in this construction area, because there will be lots of trucks that will be coming in for that area. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Right. Yeah, the roads going back, especially around the gazebo area, has got some potholes. That has nothing to do with the construction. That is water underneath that has done that. Now, I'm not saying the trucks have not helped it, but that is a structural problem that we have had for years in that area, because there's underground water that is there and has been staying there. They will be replacing that as we go through the process, and they'll be building that back up. But the construction is not the initial issue, but the construction is not helping that as well. So the apartment complex, we all lived through the power change. Duke Power's moving that over, and I do appreciate the D building and F building was out for about probably 3 or 4 hours at a time. The main office, everybody was champs. They were out for about 2 days. Then we were brought up on generator, and then we were taken back onto the new power grid within a day once we got that going. There was about 90 lines that had to be pulled out of the basement area of the right underneath, which was existing, and be relocated to new transformers. And so that all is done. We took that 3-week project and we got it done in less than a week. So that was very, very good, and a lot faster than we anticipated. And it was just because we were able to bring in that portable generator, as well as going out of power in the main office. The front office, they were okay with it. You know, they didn't have computers, but we still had the telephones and things like that to work on. So the next thing that you'll see, we were going to start this past Monday, but they're called aggregate piers. All right, so this is the lowest level. So right there, these 3 were gone, and these new transformers are back here. But what they call is aggregate piers. That's what the building is going to sit on. It's the structural integrity of the building, are all of these little holes right here. So everywhere you see a hole, they will be dug down into the ground, and gravel will be dumped into those holes. So the weight of that building will be on this gravel and concrete that will go in every one of these holes. Right here through the center, they have to go 22 to 24 feet into the ground and pour it full of gravel, and it's about 5 feet wide. All right? So you'll see a lot of work being done on there, which that means also a lot of gravel will have to be brought in. So we're calling it the parade of trucks. Will start coming, and we're anticipating that this will start this coming Monday, and the weather looks good that they will be able to start that process. But everywhere you see one of these circles, it has to be dug down and then concrete poured into it, and then you'll start seeing the building go up very, very quickly after that. Yep. They're going to come in the front entrance, and what they're going to do is they're going to come down Carolina Village Road, and you know the little road that we have built, kind of like the dirt road? As long as that is not muddy, they will turn in there, and they will be staged on that hillside before they come down and back in and dump into the hole and then go back out and go get the next load. So it will be, I think, 390 trucks that will eventually come through here. So I'm just letting you know that we're going to see a lot of traffic, but hopefully when they're staging it out, it should go pretty quickly and get them in. This will be less than a week that we should see these gravel trucks coming through. They should be leaving through the front entrance as well. The next process will be the sewer lines, and the storm drains will be put in, and the new parking lot will be also started that process, because there's a lot of utilities. There was actually about an hour ago or an hour and a half ago, all the utilities, Duke Power, the gas line, the telephone company was not there. They didn't send a representative. But all the utilities actually was in one room trying to figure out and configure from a logistics standpoint how they're going to move some of these lines and put in any of the new lines that they had. And so we'll be getting that comprehensive plan of moving some of that, because a lot of the power stuff and a lot of the telephone lines all went through this area for years and years and years. So this is that road that I was telling you about that they're kind of staging. This is the road that we'll have those trucks parked on. After today, they're calling for some more rain today and tonight, that we are looking at about a 7-day stretch of great weather. So play golf or something like that, but be very cautious because we'll stage these trucks up into this area. So let's talk a little bit about what's going to be happening over the next month. All right, and we will put this out. I'm going to put it out at the construction bulletin board, which is located on Main Street and also on the hub. This area right here is the main entrance. This is the current parking lot. All of that will be staying. All right. We will, in the process, be building this new parking lot, and one of the first things is there is a large storm drain that has to be entered here and here to help with managing all of our storm water that runs off of all this new project. So this will be entered, and that will be brought to a level that we will be able to start utilizing that road. So Carolina Village Road, when you're coming down through the Woods Cottages, this is the existing roads right here. This is the A building parking lot that comes around Carolina Village, the Village Hall. This is the existing. So the new drive, once it's all done, will continue to go straight, and you will go into this back parking lot, the new parking lot, and you do not have to do all these curves when you get down towards the end and where the end of the Main Street is, where the garages used to be. It will all be straight. You'll go straight down and will attach right back into the Carolina Village Road right at the pond level. But that will take a little bit of time. It will take us about 3 weeks in the month of May, if weather stays well, that we will get this all operational, and then we will be working in here trying to move the water lines as well as the sewer lines and the storm drains in this existing parking lot. Should not affect you, because the parking on this side of this Main Street area will continue. It'll be the employee parking, which we will be remotely parking them off-site and shuttling them into Carolina Village. All right? Lots of work that has to be done to make sure that this all the puzzles fit. But once we're able to do that, it may not be a perfect paving. It'll be a sub-level paving, but we are going to try to get it paved so people can start utilizing this road and this will be all parking. Eventually, this will all be parking, 90 new parking spaces, and then we'll have that where the employees will park. This will all be designated for residents to park. Okay? In here, we've also added some stair, so you don't have to go all the way to the end. There'll be new sidewalks in and everything like that once the project is completely done. I will try to put as much and try to be as clear as I can on those drawings located out there at Main Street. All right? If you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to see me. The carports are going to be located right here. There's 25 carports that will be located in this area, and then there will be garages located on this area located here eventually at the end of the project. So that kind of wraps up the project happening here. I did attend the North Carolina Department of Transportation meeting that they had just a week or so ago, talking about the new I-26 expansion. Talk about a fun night of pain was going through that and trying to do the public hearing for that DOT project. So the expansion of I-26 interstate is from Highway 25, which is just south of Upward Road, all the way to what we call or know as Malfunction Junction. It's where I-40 and 240 intersect. That is the concentration of this project. It is a hybrid between 6 and 8 lanes that will happen from Lower Upward Road all the way up to Asheville. Construction is estimated to begin in 2019, but they are still in public hearing format right now. This is the website. There is tons of information on the website. All right? So this is our area. I wasn't concerned about what was happening at Malfunction Junction. That is not my concern. My concern is right here, because you'll notice this is Carolina Village. This is our health care. This is our main building, Woods Cottages, Garden Cottages, and Meadows Cottages, and the back portion of our campus. As you notice, everything in yellow is new on the map. They are anticipating that this will be a 6-lane right outside of Carolina Village. Not an 8-lane, but a 6-lane. They are anticipating not having to take any property on the right-hand or the left-hand side to do this. They're going to take out the median and put a concrete barrier and put 3 lanes heading towards Asheville and 3 lanes heading towards Spartanburg. You will also notice right here that our exit changes significantly. They're getting rid of the clover leaf, and they're doing a large exit off to a stoplight and a large entrance back onto 26 on both sides. At Carolina Village, we do not lose any property for this. There is a little sliver right here that's hard to see that they have to have an easement, but no construction of that will happen. There will be some retaining walls that will happen along Carolina Village Road. This map is huge, and I'm going to try to print this out and post somewhere here at Carolina Village for us to see. It's about the length of this entire stage. So I'll try to get it printed so we can see it up close. But if you go to the website, you can look at it and zoom in. They've got each individual section on there. But one of the things that you will notice is that if there's a key over to the side, this area right here is not got a diagonal line, which signifies sound study. So during this process, they had a company to do the impact of the interstate on noise. Carolina Village did not meet the criteria to be studied during that process. So I think that's a wrong perception, because we know that the interstates makes a lot of noise. So we are working with the North Carolina Department of Transportation. I'm also working with our elected officials to try to get them to put a sound wall along I-26 on both sides of the interstate. So what we need is we do need that sound wall here. Okay? What I need from you is I need for you to write these individuals and share your concern as well. All right? During this comment period, there's a form, and there's forms located right at the back door. You can fill out this form. There's an address at the bottom. You can mail it in to them. There's also an email at the bottom. You can email them. When I heard from the noise study group, they said that they have already done everything that they could do. So when I talked to the federal employee for the United States Department of Transportation, they told us to send in as many comments as you can, right? Because he saw me struggling with the North Carolina Department of Transportation as well as the sound people. He came up afterwards and he said, you need to voice your opinion to them and let them hear you, all right? So I've got the forms. You put your name, mailing address, you're a resident, and you just kind of write briefly, and you can just put, we would like for you to consider a sound wall at Highway 64 and I-26. That's as simple as you got to do it. That's all the email has to be done. So if you got 20 emails, send 20 times. All right? Here's the catch. At this last meeting, you can only have until May 1st, which is Tuesday. So let's get it in very, very quickly because they have shortened this public hearing time. Because they want to start in 2019 and they got to make their final plans. Right? Here is the address. All right? If you want to do that, and again, the email is at the very bottom. It's very, very simple. It's only about 5 letters plus the end of the, it's this lady's aland@ncdot.gov. All right? So that's about the Department of Transportation, and like I said, I will try to put that up there once they get the final plans and get those drawings out there for you to see. But the website is very good, actually. Yes. Once we have about 520 residents now, we're adding about another 170 residents eventually if everybody had a couple in it, which is not the case. But you're talking over almost 700 people total. Now the interesting, if you look at the other maps, there was an area right at the way station that actually triggered, and they only had about 12 homes on it. So 12 families were impacted and it triggered, but not here at Carolina Village. So that's the reason why I'm saying the actual study was not true. They didn't do a true study here. So please share your comments and send it out as quickly as you can. So let's talk about a few things. I told you I would only try to keep you here about an hour, and we're already over that. Friday, May 4th, if you have done your taxes and you're ready to shred old materials, we're going to have a shred day. With everything going on with construction, we're going to move the shred company to the E-Wing entrance parking lot. So we'll go there, and we will have buggies and things like that. They will shred here on site. They do not take anything off Carolina Village to shred. So if you've got old taxpayer papers or old documents and you want to shred, that will be the day to do it. It's free. They will be here from 10 a.m. until noon on Friday, May 4th. Right? Yes? They just ask that you take the binders off. So paper clips are fine. If you do have a spiral notebook, they ask that you don't put the spiral notebook in there. But the big clips, they ask to take them off. But the small paper clips are okay with. Yeah. Sounds interesting when it does it, but yeah. So we've talked about this. We have got an update about the Medicare cards. It looks like North Carolina will be mailed their new Medicare cards after June of this year. All right? We started on April 1st. They started issuing new Medicare cards. They have now put in regions, and North Carolina's region starts in June of 2018. So be on the lookout for that, and you can bring it down. But the biggest thing is do not fall for a scam, them calling you saying that they need information from you. They don't need anything from you. Medicare has that information. Yes. The question is she received a letter about the census. The 2020 census is coming up. You do not have to answer any census information. We will have a representative designated to Carolina Village, and we will let you know when that person is coming. So don't fill that information out and give them. Again, they are very talented to get the information from you. And we're doing everything we can to protect you on this campus. When we did the 2010 census, we had a representative. We let you know when they were coming and what days. And we actually had her picture. If you were here, we posted her picture so you knew that she was from the U.S. Census Bureau. They hire people to do that, and Carolina Village is so large that they designated Carolina Village to one individual. And we have to send that information in, and we try to do as much as we can, but so you don't have to do it for that piece of it, for the census. So the elevators, A and B, are up and running. Thank the Lord. So on that end of it. We are going to be meeting with them tomorrow to talk about the F building and D building, redos of those. We are not going to let them start until we have a specific plan, because those elevators cannot be down for a significant amount of time. So we're going to logistically try to work through that, and we will be meeting with them tomorrow, and we'll have more details of when that schedule will happen for the F building and then for the D building. All right. The F building is the more critical one, because the third floor of F building is the only one that has access to the bridge. And those individuals, if they don't have access to another elevator because of that level, shuts off right there. So we'll be working on those logistics and working with those residents on that floor. Election day is coming up. On the primary is, of course, in 2 weeks, May 8th, here in the Village Hall. We're a precinct for that piece of it, and they've also got early voting already happening. We have to follow the rules and guidelines for that. They've already called. That's the reason why we moved the health fair from the May 8th to May 1st for that piece of it. And then the next one that we'll have will be in the fall for November 6th, on Tuesday, November 6th. That will be coming up. The health fair, just mentioned, Velda will be having her health fair next Tuesday here in the Village Hall. She has over 30 vendors that will be here from the community. I know that she has an ambulance scheduled to be here. She's got some other EMS and first responders to be here as well to show you what they do. So please stop by. It's from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. here in the Village Hall. And this is a good side note to talk about with Velda. This was on a slide earlier, and we got really concentrated on dining. Velda has announced her retirement. Okay. Her retirement is scheduled for Thursday, May 31st, which is just right around the corner, a little over a month. We're in the process of determining what the next phase of that position will be. We're working, we will replace that with something. We're in the works right now to try to figure out, do we bring on an opportunity to bring on a physician onto the Carolina Village campus and those types of scenarios. So we're working through that and trying to get through the logistics of that. But she has announced her retirement, and she's not here. She's actually got her grandson at a dentist appointment. So it's great to tell you, but this is a secret. At the May 31st town hall, we would be dedicating a portion of that to celebrate Velda. And then we will have a reception, a surprise reception out in the fireplace lounge, okay, for Velda. So don't tell her, and if you see her watching the next replays of the town hall, push her out of the way, all right? So, Memorial Day, that's our next holiday, will be coming up. We do have a town hall before that, but I wanted to let you know about what's going on. It is a observed holiday for Carolina Village. Breakfast that morning is from 7 to 11, or 7 to 10, and then lunch is from 11 to 2. There is no dinner meal on that Monday night on Memorial Day. The bistro will be closed. The front office will be open from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. This is a little bit of a twist than we've had in the past, because used to they didn't open till 10. We are now bringing that staff member in at 8 o'clock because it's so busy. The business office will be closed, so none of the, the cashier window, if you're going to be needing to talk about your bills or about Medicare, they will not be open that day. But we will have a regular bus run on that day. Right? So if there's something scheduled for that day in the bus, we will continue to do that as long as the store that they're going to is open, which most of them are on Memorial Day. This is another scam that has come up. Many of you are on the North Carolina State Health Plan, especially if you are a retired teacher. You need to be very cautious about the fact that they have been sending out letters saying that they need, or calls needing your Social Security number. If you're a state health plan member, so do not give that to them. It is a scammer trying to get your Social Security and your identity. The North Carolina State Health Plan is this proving that this is them, and they say that whoever is using their logo and all that is a scammer. So be very cautious again about giving anything over the telephone. Upcoming events, we've got the Caregiver Support Group on Friday, May 4th in the chapel at 10 a.m. Transition Support Group Wednesday, May 9th, 12:30 in the parlor. We will be going over the Medical Center and the Care Center, what they all offer for everyone on Thursday, May 24th here in the Village Hall at 2 p.m. And then, of course, we will be rebroadcasting this tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So if this is when you see Velda watching. This is when you push her out of the way. All right? Monday at 7 p.m. if she's here, push her out of the way as well. But we will be replaying them tomorrow and again at 7 p.m. on Monday. And then, of course, we have copies located out there about everything that was going on. Any questions about that? I went through 75 slides in about 15 minutes, so that was good. So, yes? Any of the events will be on the weekly calendar, yes. Yeah. And then, like I said, we're going to try to put as much information, one about the I-26 as well as about the construction and anything that may impact anything like that. So, on the hub as well as on the bulletin board. Any other questions? Thank you for asking John all the hard questions. Oh, yes. So. Yeah, in the e-courtyard, there is a container in the center. That is actually all those elevators, the new elevators for D and F building that we're meeting about tomorrow. Okay, so that's what's there. Hopefully we can get that out very, very quickly. On that, yeah. Thanks for mentioning about that. The fiber, we're working on that. We've got a plan of distribution, so we'll be getting that out soon about how we're going to be implementing that. Of course, we've got a lot of work being done around our campus. Grounds has been trying to catch up from all the rain and all the wind, and all the trees and limbs have come down. So we are definitely staying busy around here. If you get bored, come by. So, yes. So the question is about the end of the year having the tax letter for unused meals. So here's a scenario that it kind of put it in perspective for me. We've got a Christmas dinner, and I invite 50 people to come to that Christmas dinner, and they all say they're coming. And the day of the dinner, half of those people cancel on me. I have already bought the food, I've already cooked the food, and I've already paid for it. It's the same scenario. Every day we have to be prepared if you're there. So we thought it was a great idea, and thinking that you could have a quantification for that, but the money was already spent. So we actually had to double dip because I had to transfer that money out of Carolina Village to those endowments to restricted. So we were really punishing ourselves in that way. So that's the reason why we hope to get to the point to where it's a la carte and all this other stuff to keep those costs down, because all those 25 people didn't come, that food had to be wasted. And so that's kind of how the money came into the play of that. And so we've taken that opportunity for you to get that off on your taxes. So people can still give, it just will not be the end of the year unused balance, because I've already used that money sometime in the previous 12 months. So, yeah. You can go, at the current time, you can go to the restaurant and do the restaurant plan. And I have not heard any discussion about taking that away at this point. If you remember, some of the people, when Carolina Village first started, we didn't even have a dining room. We did potlucks 3 times a week, and everybody had to bring their own pot and of whatever food you decided to cook that day. Then we got the dining program. We didn't have a dinner meal, and we've added on to that. Several years ago, we went from the 1 meal per day to a declining balance. So you could use it at breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Then we brought the bistro on. So we made some changes and things like that to the program, and we'll be continuing to make that. But the restaurant plan has been a big thing that has helped. And I will tell you, there's other communities that have modeled their community just like Carolina Village, because people are wanting more options as well as flexibility in regards to that. Because we have some people that have to go to the country club certain times of the month because they've already had to pay that, or they have to go to other memberships and things. And so we do have to be a little bit rigid. I mean, you talk about the dining program, take a half a vegetable and a half a vegetable to make 1 vegetable. When we did that restaurant plan, we had people wanting to go buy their groceries at Ingles and say that they made a sandwich at home. So we did have to make it a true restaurant, and you bring it in, and we do take that down. But yeah. So, any other questions? Yes. Are we talking about the lower parking or the upper, or the around the curve? Oh, the lower entrance? Okay. Okay. I'll take a look at it. So, I know that we've also, we've had some issues on the upper level, the sidewalks, with all the rain and things like that, and people use those sidewalks to come in, and they've gotten mud on them, and it's become slick. So we're trying to keep those as clear as we possibly can. This year has been extremely wet and doesn't help with that, but I'll look at those other issues. But if you see issues like that, please bring them to our attention, because you're our eyes and ears as well, and those are work orders that we can get done. Yes? Yeah, we've actually, the comment was the trucks roll through the stop signs. We had a construction meeting last week, and the large portion of that meeting was about safety, especially when we're talking about some of these logistics and people being in the construction area, and that was one of the big discussions. So hopefully they've had some of that talk. We also have we have Carolina Village staff that do the exact same thing. We have Carolina Village residents that do the exact same thing. So, yeah, we've just all got to be very, very careful. And, I mean, you're not going to win with a truck. They're just too big, they're too powerful, and they have they take a lot of room. But I'll mention again, I have another meeting with them in the morning, so I'll mention it back to them. And plus, it's something that's going to have to be on the topic every time, because we get different construction people in here. Like right now, we have Moore and Son, which is they do the civil work. Then we'll have these dump trucks coming in. That's another crew that comes in. So it's something we have to bring on every agenda when we talk about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, but one of the things that we are looking and anticipating that we're already seeing, that you're only ordering what you will eat, and we won't have a lot of waste. Those are two separate scenarios. The Christmas dinner had to do with the end of the year rollover plan to get a tax letter. The a la carte is what we hope to get to where you have variety of choices, as well as you're eating only what you want to eat at that particular time, and there won't be any of this extra stuff. I had a resident that it was April 1st, or April 2nd. I will never forget it. They came up and said, "I cannot believe that you're making me pay for a drink." And so we went through the scenarios and things like that. And what we found out was that that person wanted 6 milks and not pay for it. And I said, well, what if I had somebody that wanted 6 side dishes and not pay for it? Well, that's unheard of, is what this individual said. That's ridiculous. That's a waste, because you know they're not going to eat it. And I said, but you shouldn't have to pay for their 6 side dishes, and they shouldn't have to pay for your 6 milks. Because what they were trying to do was get enough milk to eat their breakfast for the next 2 days. And so they were shopping and not wanting to pay for it. So that was it's very confusing. And I don't think I answered your question. But anyway. We do prepare, we will have to prepare it all, yes. We would definitely would. But hopefully we will not be preparing, it will be prepared at the time, and it will be fresh, and it will be only what is being consumed at that point. Did I see another hand in the back? It may have been the same question. They are, and I will tell you, some of those speed bumps will be coming out very, very soon. Yes. So, yep. So, we were hoping that they would be out before the 390 parade of trucks, but they will not. So they will just have to go a little slower, which is a good thing in our community these days. So, yes. Yes, actually what we do, so people will know, the way the food works is once I thaw out something, say we have a box of chicken, and I thaw out that box of chicken, there's a clock that starts on that chicken. And we actually, before that day, we'll use it. So I always use examples of vegetables. Today's vegetable is tomorrow's soup. That's not always true, but we all did it in our own homes. You kind of redo things. But here we're a little bit more rigid because of the Department of Health and the health inspectors. So once we hit that day mark, we can send it to the rescue mission, because they are not governed by the Department of Health. So anything that we would not use in tomorrow's dish or the next couple of days, we then distribute it over to the rescue mission. So we've done that actually for about 3 years now. So a lot of it is the soup, because we do chicken noodle soup. That's every day, so we use that up. But if we had cream of chicken soup today, if we can't use that cream of chicken tomorrow in something else or in the next day, then I do have to distribute out. Or we try to not make as much of that, and we don't. They don't get a lot of individual items. They get really a clump of stuff that we provide them. So, and they are very gracious about that too. Unless the muffins, we'll get back on the muffins for a second. Once the muffins are on the table, I cannot give it to the rescue mission. It is a health hazard because it's contaminated once it's out there. So, but if I have muffins and they've had that 3-day, they get muffins, okay? So we don't waste all of them. We just waste the ones that you're ordering and not eating. Yes. Right. Their portions are basically on the nutritional guide, and that is something we're training our staff to make sure that the portion sizes are consistent both at the takeout and the dining room with every staff member. And that's what the chef has been doing. That's what Maria has been doing. And there's ways that we can do that behind the scenes so everybody gets consistently. And that, again, is the training. We've had the chef come in. We've also had hospitality management training and hospitality training with our staff. And that will continue. So we'll see a lot more of that happen over the next little bit. All right. Anything else? Last? All right. Thank you very, very much. Have a great afternoon.